Hi guys, Julianne here. Today I want to talk about my sleeping pad again. The reason why I want to talk about my sleeping pad is because I had an amazing subscriber gift me a Thermarest X-Lite. I don't even know where to begin in saying how thankful I am of my subscribers and how thoughtful and amazing you guys are. I just don't know what to say, to be honest. I've been, this is too much information, but I've been struggling really believing in the good in people, and ever since I started my YouTube channel, I really have been experiencing very good in people. Aww. Anyway, I did receive this X-Lite, and it is such a great gift. But after I looked at it, I am still not 100% convinced on taking the X-Lite.
Why would you say that?
And some of you probably are like, she's crazy. She's getting a free X-Lite and she still doesn't know whether she's gonna take it. And I have to say, the X-Lite seems almost like the right choice to make. It is 4 ounces lighter than the Apollo Air, as well as it has been proven to keep women or men warm on the trail. And so it should be a logical decision for me, shouldn't it be? Yes! I mean, I think it should be. But of course, after I'm looking at the two pads, I understand the Apollo Air is wider as well as longer. And I have to consider, is the comfort of having a wider pad as well as longer pad, is that gonna make a significant difference? And because I am not a experienced hiker, I don't know. So I want to have a look at it with you guys and just kind of see what your thoughts are. I'm sure most of you are gonna probably say the X-Lite. Yes! But I also will test it out in the coming days, because even though I live in Florida, the next few nights are going to be very cold, and one of our nights is going to be about 39 degrees. So that's going to be a pretty good low temperature for me to try out both pads. So yeah, let's have a look to see what you're thinking. Or maybe, I don't know. Help, please. Okay, we're looking at the Gear Doctor Apollo 17.69 and the Thermarest 12.47. So I'm going to begin with the Gear Doctor Apollo Air. If you've seen my other videos, you know that this pad makes quite some noise when you blow it up. Ultimately, what you just do is you blow into the bag and it'll, which is one of the negatives about this pad. Damn! Don't want to be called squeaky on the trail. Alright, so it's all blown out. Moving on to the next one. Thermarest. This one didn't come with a blow-up bag, which is fine because it was a gift. And I'm sure I could probably get a blow-up bag, but ultimately I'm just gonna have to do that with my mouth. And yeah, let's just go from there. So as you can see, I put the Thermarest X-Lite on top of the Apollo Air Gear Doctor, and you can see the significant difference. The Apollo Air is about 23 inches wide and the X-Lite is 20 inches wide. And then you can see just how much longer the Apollo Air is as well. Just to show how cold it actually is. It can get very cold in Florida. What's up? I'm in my tent. I set it up. That was a lot harder than I thought it would be. in the dark and such, so it's cold. What I love is like my quilt is awesome. I feel so warm, and you can really tell how cold it is when you don't have like when the hands are outside of the quilt. So I am trying out the Apollo Air and not the not a Thermarest, because I know the Thermarest is gonna be good, but it's the Apollo Air that I'm obviously for some reason worried about. So yeah, I'm so excited to get on the trail, guys. Less than 2 months and I will be walking, eating, sleeping. That's life. Can't wait to not have to worry about other things, to be a little bit free of some other things. That's really exciting. So far so good. Anyway, I will give you an update on how this Apollo Air is holding up tonight. So it's the day after being in my amazing tent, and I loved it because it makes me realize just how much closer I am to the Appalachian Trail. I woke up at 4 a.m. just because I didn't know that I lived near a bunch of roosters who felt like they needed to compete with each other on whether it was morning or not. So the intense screaming between them made me wake up, and I couldn't sleep anymore, so I went back into my comfortable bed, which was really nice. Now, how did the Apollo Air do? It did just fine. It kept me warm enough. The quilt itself is amazing. So the Enlighten Equipment 10-degree quilt kept me so warm. And so I could definitely feel the difference between the warmth of the quilt and then the pad itself was warm, but it wasn't like super cozy like my quilt. The other thing that I noticed is definitely draft coming from the sides of the pad. So I have to figure out how to reduce the draft. If you have any advice, it would really, really help me to understand how to do that better. And then the biggest realization I had when I woke up, yes, okay, so there was condensation on the tent. Great, I knew about that. You know, everybody's been telling me about that. But there was condensation on my actual outside of the quilt. And I was surprised about that. I feel like nobody's ever talked about that. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know why my quilt was slightly wet. Nothing was dripping from the roof of the tent, because it wasn't like that much condensation. So I was a little bit surprised about the fact that my quilt was slightly wet. So if you have any advice on, again, on the drafting that comes from the outside, as well as the condensation of the quilt, yeah, I guess I should just keep the sides open, which I didn't. Will that reduce the condensation for the quilt? Because I'm not really worried about the paint. You know, I mean, it didn't rain from the ceiling, but the quilt was wet, so I'm a little bit confused about that. So anyway, so Apollo Air is fine. So I still need to make a decision on whether I take the Thermarest or the Apollo Air, but at least I know that the Apollo is going to keep me decently warm. So now it's just a question of whether I'm going with having something a little bit wider or not. And that, you know, my Thermarest right there is waiting for me to try it out. So thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate it. See you on the next video. Or again, you see me on the next video. Have a good day.